On today's video, we're going to be talking about the game Tenchu. So back in 1998, the company made a little stealth action-adventure game called Tenchu. And essentially, you're a ninja in 16th century Japan. It's really a cult classic and the granddaddy of stealth games. Now, if you're curious what Tenchu translates to English from Japan, it translates as Divine Retribution. Ten meaning heaven and Chai meaning death penalty. Another translation of this phrase, Wrath of Heaven, which is the first PlayStation 2 title in the series. Like I said before, the game takes place in 16th century feudal Japan. The original story, which is Stealth Assassins, revolves around two ninjas, Rikimaru and Ayame, who are both members of the Azuma ninja clan since they were kids. The two ninjas serve Lord Gohda and work for him as secret spies to root out corruption and gather intelligence in his province, which essentially is like 16th century CIA ninjas. I didn't realize how deep it went, because I was playing this game like 20 years ago, but it totally makes sense now that I'm seeing this. But of course, Lord Gohda has enemies. The evil demonic sorcerer, Lord Mayo, sought to destroy Lord Gohda using his henchmen, aka the demon warrior Onikage. And honestly, Onikage is more iconic to me than Lord Mayo because Onikage would constantly appear throughout the first game. There were several missions where he just showed up. Lord Mayo, he's the in-game boss. They talk about him. But this was 20 years ago. I was a kid, so obviously this just stuck out to me more. And he pretty much appeared in all the games other than Fatal Shadow and Tenchu Z. And throughout Stealth Assassins and other Tenchu games, there's obviously Princess Kiku, which is Lord Gohda's daughter who often needs to be saved. Really, at the end of the game, as Stealth Assassins, you save her. And also you find a flower for her or something in the middle of Stealth Assassins. Now we cannot forget, if we're talking about a Tenchu game, we cannot forget about the legendary items that are in the game. Obviously you can heal yourself. You have shurikens, the ninja stars, you just shoot them at your enemy. You got the poison rice balls, let your enemies eat it and they poison themselves to death. You got the little spiky things you throw right behind you. They get stabbed in the foot with it. And then you got unlockable items. Now, how do you get the unlockable items, you say? But of course, you're going to need a Grandmaster ranking in your mission when you're done with it. And how the heck would you achieve something like that? You got to be as stealthful as possible. I remember back in the day, in order to get Grandmaster, I had to literally only stealth kill two guys and avoid everybody else and kill the boss. That was it. It was really tough to not be trying to achieve Grandmaster. Most of the time, you would get Thug or Novice, and if you were pretty decent, which has probably happened more often, you would get Ninja. They're like, yeah, you're actually kind of stealthy, but you're not the true master. You're not the true Grandmaster. By today's standards, the game looks really old and blocky, but you have to understand that this was one of the first stealth games to ever come out. The granddaddy of stealth games. Tenchu, Stealth Assassins. There were other games like this. They had 2D games kind of similar to this, but a full-blown 3D game, this was huge. You have to understand, Tenchu came out on August 31st in North America before Metal Gear Solid. So you're talking about literally the granddaddy of stealth games. This game came out before Splinter Cell. This game came out before Thief. This was it, man. Really, the first 3D stealth game that you could play. So who are the characters of Tenchu? The main characters of the Tenchu series are obviously Rikimaru, Ayame, Tenchi, and Rin. Rikimaru, the main character, is a tall, white-haired shinobi with a single Najinsu named Azura, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, and a scar over his right eye. That was very distinguishable back in the day. I remember seeing that scar just right there. He is physically stronger than Ayame and Rin, but obviously he is slower. Ayame is a Konuchi, sorry if I mispronounced that. She's a female ninja who wears standard ninja clothes. Her midriff is exposed and carries a pair of Konuchis, which I can't pronounce. Obviously faster and can perform way more combos than Rikimaru and Tenchi, but is weaker than them. Tenchu is a vigilant who wears blue doctor's clothes, and he fights barehanded with needles. He is definitely strong like Rikimaru, but slower than Ayame and Rin. His appearance is heavily based on the character by Felucci. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Rin is a young Kanuchi who carries a large katana called Natsu. Despite wielding a sword, she prefers to use hand-to-hand combat, relying on fast combos like ayame. Originally, Tenchu was published from Sony Music Entertainment in Japan, but whenever it became a North America release, Activision purchased the rights to the game. But now, of course, From Software, the guys that make Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and Bloodborne, they have the rights to Tenchu, but just not games that were previously published by Activision. If you're curious, the games in the series of Tenchu goes as follows. The original 1998 first 3D stealth game ever, the granddaddy of stealth games, Tenchu Stealth Assassins on the original PlayStation. Tenchu 2, Birth of the Stealth Assassins. Then there's Tenchu Wrath of Heaven, which was the first PlayStation 2 title, which also came out on the Xbox. Then we have Tenchu Fatal Shadows. Then we go over to Tenchu Time of the Assassins on the PSP, Dark Secret on the Nintendo DS, Tenchu Z on the 360, Shadow Assault Tenchu, which is a puzzle game on the Xbox 360, and of course the final Tenchu in the series so far, Tenchu Shadow Assassins on the Nintendo Wii and PSP. So there's another game in the series that used the Tenchu level editor, and it was exclusively released in Japan. And that game is Tenchu Shinobi Husky. People who were competing in this, 100 of the best competing levels that were designed in the level editor of Tenchu Shinobi Gaisen, which is the Tenchu re-release in Japan, their levels were put into Tenchu Shinobi Huskin, and it's a standalone game, and it does not really have any story at all. Now, the engine and game fundamentals remained unchanged. Shinobi Huskin is famous for the hardest level settings among Tenchu fans, especially because of the tight time limits and the overall lack of items, excluding the call trap and the throwing stars. No North American and European versions were released, however. So you better get your emulator out and you better be ready to play, because you're not going to be playing it here in America, obviously. Now, several of the games were also ported to mobile phones with graphical changes. These include Tenchu Ayame's Tales 3D, which was released for the Sony Emerson mobile phone series, and Tenchu Wrath of Heaven by TKO Software and Digital Bridges, which was released for mobile phones in 2005. Although it used two-dimensional graphics, a stage play adaptation, Tenchu Bushi, was performed in 2014. It's estimated that the whole series sales are at 10 million games sold worldwide as of 2018. Remember when Sakura Shadows Die Twice came out and everybody thought it was originally going to be a Tenchu game? Were you hoping that it was going to be a Tenchu game, or were you happy with the result? Also, do you yearn for more Tenchu games, or do you yearn for the days of old from the original 3D Grandmaster stealth game itself? Or have you forgotten about Tenchu? Let me know down in the comment section below. Well, this has been Booming Success. If you like what you've seen here, like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell. And maybe check out some of my other videos. Thank you so much for watching.